There's something we absolutely have to remember when we're just going through our lives, and that is that everyone has their own perspective. And I know we know this, and I know conceptually we know this, but in our responses, we don't know this because we're always positioning ourselves as right and the other person wrong, or that we're wrong and the other person is right. It goes both ways. And the other day, we went shoe shopping for our boys for their basketball shoes, and they had picked out two different shoes, but they're the exact same shoes. They were just inverted. So one was like mainly black with white, and the other one was the exact same design, but was mainly white with black. And so it was like, I was like, oh, those are the same shoe and the same colors. They're just positioned differently. They just are, it's a different perspective, if you will. Then we come home and we also had picked them up some clothes, and they come out and one of them has a black shirt on and white shorts, and the other one has on black shorts and a white top. And so then again, still colors, black and white, inverted, different perspectives. Now, to go on top of this, at the same time, we were involved and we had two different sides to two different stories. It was external from us. And both of those sides of those stories were so compelling. So compelling. At one event that we witnessed, black and white just inverted. And both of them felt so right and felt like the other person was so wrong. You see what's happening here? We're always looking at things from our own perspective, our own experience. And we don't really realize that everyone's allowed to be right. No one likes to hear that because we have these ideas and these standards and this conception of value and the values that we have, which are all true. We're not condoning certain behaviors, but what we're doing is we're recognizing the other person can also be right in their stance and in their positioning, even if it's hurtful for us, even if we don't agree with it. This happens a lot in relationships. We always position ourselves as the one being right and the other person being wrong, instead of looking at it from, I'm right and so are they, because they have a different perspective. They have a different stance, a different posture, a different view of the situation, because it comes from their life experience. It's not just in that moment. It's not just what they said in the moment that was maybe hurtful. And you can say, well, don't say that to me. That's wrong. That's not nice. And although it doesn't make it nicer, we look at somebody's lived experience, and what's being created, what's being said is from that perspective. It's from their hurt. It's from their exposure. It's from their lived experience. And so we create a lot of suffering around this. We create a lot of suffering on positioning ourselves as being right to ensure that the other person is wrong, or vice versa. The invert of that is we position ourselves all the time to be wrong, and that other people are right, that they have something we don't have, that they are, far beyond our greatest dreams of our own wisdom, or whatever that is, or they have this like elusive, like knowing that we don't have. And we're just looking up to them. We're like, we don't have that. I'm wrong. They're right. I must listen to that. They must know something that I don't know. And it's just simply not true. They just have a different perspective. I just have a different perspective than you and those around me and everyone else. And other people have different perspectives than I have. It doesn't make me any more right and somebody else any more wrong. But we live our life. Again, we create so much suffering around this very topic of always making somebody else wrong or right, instead of just allowing things to simply be. Now, why does this even matter? Why am I even still talking about this? It's like, okay, I got it, Kayla. I heard you, blah, 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 blah. Because it shows up so strongly in our relationships. It shows up so strongly in our positioning in conversations, in growing a business, in working as an employee, or being a boss, or doing whatever you're doing in your relationship with your children. Like, it doesn't really matter. It shows up so strongly in the communication. And when there's a communication breakdown, it happens because we're trying to position ourselves as right and the other person is wrong. And you may be like, I don't do that. I like to see everyone's perspective, and I like everyone to have their own perspective. Okay. Heard this before. And when you dig a little deeper, you'll realize your posturing, you'll realize your positioning, and you'll realize how much it's impacting your ability to be present in a conversation, because you're making sure that other person is a certain way. You're seeing them a certain way, and you're not giving them the opportunity to just be right in their own right. Just allow it without you trying to prove or change the other person's experience. And if you change this one thing in your communication skills, and you change this perspective for yourself, and you can allow somebody else to be right, and you be right without needing to change their experience or convince them otherwise, you'll start to realize you can really actually listen to what the person's saying. And you'll realize that makes sense to me. Or, oh, that doesn't make sense to me. That's okay too. We don't have to play that game. We don't have to create more suffering. Then you don't have to go have these narratives and these stories about how wrong you are and how you're never good enough or how nobody listens to you or all these different aspects, all these different clouded stories come up. But if we simply listen and we simply allow it to be, things really can change. It can change in our dynamic in our relationship. It can change in our communication. It can change in how we are interacting with another. Now, this is just top of the funnel. Like if we're just doing this, like this is like the very entry to this point. So, what I really challenge you to think about today is how often you are making other people right or wrong. Like, how often does that show up for you? And how much is it impacting your ability to fully be present in communication and in conversation? And also, how much is it impacting your ability to have like a level of peace? Like, just a level of peace of just like not always having to feel like this disruption of like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. They're not good enough. I'm not smart enough. They're not smart enough. Like, this, like, ugh, it's just exhausting. It's just exhausting. And then we're chasing it and then we're always finding it. And we're always trying to position and posture ourselves as better or worse than. So, really, what I challenge you to do is just explore this. Just explore this very simple thing and just notice how often it comes up for you. And maybe you didn't notice or you didn't realize it before. Drop that in the comments. Let me know if something resonated with you or if you're even can just reflect right now and say, oh, no, I do that. I definitely do that. Let me know what stands out. Can't wait to hear from you.